We've all heard the alleged rules for being happy with someone. They're everywhere and very difficult to avoid. Many of the rules trickle down from much earlier generations in which things worked differently, or were cooked up by a clever advertiser somewhere to hawk engagement rings or some other overpriced bauble. How can you possibly love and cherish your fiancé if you can't even spend several $1,000s on an engagement ring, right? For those reasons, there's a lot of baloney floating around out there when it comes to things that you simply must do to maintain a happy relationship. Make no mistake, there certainly are several things that are required to be a good partner and to develop a lasting, loving relationship with someone special. But we're not going to talk about those things today. Instead, let's get rid of the nonsense. These are 8 myths for ensuring a happy relationship. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button below and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Myth number 8. Happy couples should magically know what the other wants. Many decades of movies and television shows have convinced us that words are hardly required when you've found your soulmate. One look into your partner's eyes should tell you everything you need to know about what he or she wants. That, of course, is total nonsense. Happy couples are simply good at expressing wants and needs to each other in appropriate ways, and also good at responding to the requests of the other. This kind of conversation can be difficult, but there's enough respect, maturity, and love in the relationship to make them feel comfortable that the other will take the request seriously, even if it's something critical. Over time, many strong couples will learn to predict the right things to do and say, but that has more to do with the innate human ability to learn patterns than any kind of mythical connection between the two parties. So, don't be disappointed if you can't sense the things your partner is thinking. Nobody can. Instead, attempt to build a relationship with strong, honest communication, and you'll find that it becomes easier to know the right things to do. Myth number 7. Happy couples should want to be constantly together. In many new relationships, the people involved quickly become inseparable. If the relationship lasts, most of them will gradually return to more autonomous lives as the honeymoon phase ends. The relationship might still be very strong, but the two participants spend less time together. Often, one or both of the partners will look back wistfully on the earlier days of constant immersion in this fun, passionate new relationship, and wonder why it isn't like that anymore. The truth is that even people who are happily and deeply in love need personal space. Some need more than others, but everyone needs room to breathe. The early days of a relationship aren't a true reality. In fact, that kind of total reliance on each other over a long term is considered unhealthy by many professionals in the field. In those cases, there's no backup plan if the relationship ever fails, or if a partner dies. The partners have totally eliminated themselves as autonomous individuals, and that can make recovering from the loss of the other much harder. Strong couples should look forward to time together, but it's more than reasonable to also look forward to time apart. Myth number 6. Happy couples never lie to each other. This myth is very romantic in theory, but totally implausible in the real world. Everyone lies. It's just that simple. Happy couples may avoid telling each other big or significant lies, but anyone who claims to have never lied to his or her partner is, in fact, lying. Lies can be kind. For example, pretending to appreciate your partner's first shaky attempt at painting or writing might boost her morale to try again. Or, pretending to like his inedible attempt to make spaghetti sauce isn't going to hurt anyone, unless he makes it more often. These lies should be accompanied with constructive criticism to help the partner improve, but they are still lies. And they're the kind of lies that happy couples do tell each other. In fact, they're the kind of lies that people who care about each other should tell. Lies like these can have a positive effect on the relationship by providing encouragement that brings you closer together. Myth number 5. Happy couples have to love each other's family. No, they don't. Happy couples have to respect each other's family. There's an enormous difference. From a distance, it might look like there's a big old love fest going on, but that could just be a demonstration of respect between partners. Strong couples make small sacrifices for each other all the time, and that could even include pretending to like family members. In fact, it might even be a ruse that they've discussed in private. It's one of those poorly guarded charades that's been going on for generations. Even movies and television shows have parodied the difficulties of in-law relations since the days of black and white. But in recent years, as Western society attempts to become increasingly sensitive and unafraid of emotions, the charade has been sold as genuine more often. But don't be fooled. Partners who respect each other will also respect each other's families, even if it means doing some acting. Now, there's no reason why partners can't sincerely love in-laws if the chemistry is right, but it's certainly no requirement of a good relationship. Myth number 4. Happy couples never go to bed angry. This is an old adage that deserves to finally die once and for all. Attempting to settle arguments when one or both partners is tired can be a terrible idea, and it can even cause the disagreement to escalate. There are times when a clear head is required to solve problems, particularly when the problems involve emotional issues that require compromise and understanding. You may not get a fantastic night of sleep if your partner is angry with you, or vice versa, but you will be in a better position the next morning to work things through. Strong couples might even agree to put the argument on hold until the next morning because they know each other well enough to understand that nothing is going to be settled properly in an exhausted state. A good partner doesn't want to wear his or her other into submission. He or she wants to resolve things the right way so the relationship can move forward. If that means delaying a few hours to talk things through, it's worth the wait. In some cases, the issue might not even seem quite so bad after a night of sleep. Myth number 3. Happy couples have to share all values. This is a bit of a tricky one because it's only mostly false. There are some fundamental values that pretty much have to be shared to allow a relationship to succeed over a long term. A desire for children, a desire for marriage, a belief in polyamory, perhaps even strong religious convictions. But happy couples can certainly have different values and still do just fine. Political affiliations, economic choices, views on social justice. Those things might cause arguments from time to time, but they're not relationship death sentences, as long as the partners have enough respect to avoid using them as weapons against each other. Of course, a relationship is easier when both parties agree on all values, but that's not a likely situation, especially when the relationship begins after the two people are mature enough to have already formed views of the world. Often, partners' values will naturally drift together over time, but even if that doesn't happen, the world is full of long, happy relationships in which two people view the world and its population quite differently. Myth number 2. Happy couples only have eyes for each other. We all know someone who claims to have completely lost the urge to look at other attractive people now that they've found the perfect relationship. In a vast majority of cases, though, it's completely false. Instead, they're likely keeping the sightseeing expeditions hidden to avoid hurting or disrespecting a sensitive partner. This is especially true if a sightseer's taste in physical beauty tends to be somewhat different than the person he or she is with. Although it's a kind claim to make, particularly when involved with someone whose self-esteem is fragile, it's completely unreasonable to assume that being a good partner also means being physically blind to anyone else in the world. This myth likely developed as a silly way of proving total commitment to the relationship, and it evolved into something that evokes guilt from a majority who can't seem to avoid noticing attractive people in the street. If you're happy with your partner, don't get suckered into the guilt or doubt if your eyes wander from time to time. As long as you keep your hands and your thoughts to yourself, your relationship can still be very strong and happy. Myth number 1. Happy couples never argue. This is sheer nonsense. Over a long term, no two people will ever agree on absolutely everything, and no two people will ever manage to avoid saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Much like many other aspects of a happy relationship, strong couples are simply good at working problems out before they turn into grudges that drive people apart. In fact, many relationship counselors suggest that strong couples must argue from time to time. It's an important part of knowing your partner to a depth where long-term success is more likely. If he or she lashes out with personal insults, or if things become physical, those are things you likely want to know about your partner before considering a life together with a family. Learning how to argue while maintaining love and respect is what matures us as people, and as a good partner in any relationship, romantic or otherwise. Of course, there is such a thing as arguing too much. Most relationships in that category aren't long for this world. There's no rule to determine if you and your partner argue too often, but if you're rarely actually happy together, that might suggest that things aren't working. Nevertheless, happy couples most certainly do argue. You might not see it, and they might attempt to maintain the myth to save face, but it happens. No matter how happy two people are together, they're still autonomous humans with separate brains, and that makes disagreement inevitable. And there you have 8 myths about happy couples that are total nonsense. Relationships are difficult and imperfect, no matter what the movie studios and jewelry stores try to sell us. Don't write your partner off because he or she doesn't magically know what you want for dinner and tells you little white lies now and then to make you feel good. Being a good partner means expressing yourself in effective, respectful ways, and you should expect that someone who loves you will want to do that. Those who are good at doing so make relationships look easy. If you liked this video, please clobber that like button below, and subscribe now to the Wild AC channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.